So here we've got 6 of the wonderful Naomi roses, and they've been tied together with some rolled aspidistra leaves, a couple of Formian leaves, Robellini palm, and just gently tied, quite simply as a limited tide. Now, obviously, the biggest thing is aquapacking something like this. If we can't aquapack and put water, what I would suggest is on every rose, we would then put an actual plastic water tube on the bottom with some water in. Here we've got a roll of craft paper. This is the black craft paper, but obviously it is available in other colours. So this combination or this style of technique can still be used with other products. I'm first of all just going to roll out the actual craft paper, and I'm going to just cut 2 segments. And this is sort of roughly the same sort of size that I would have felt like when we were doing the hand tied. I folded in half. So this gives me one base, and then we cut another one, and also fold and crease. So those 2 sections are ready. These are for the bottom of the hand tied. Just pop those underneath for 1 second. Now we need 2 longer pieces of craft paper. Cut roughly about the same size. So what we're going to create with this limited tide is we're going to create impact from it. Rather than wrapping it and swallowing it up with the cellophanes, we're actually going to create interesting peaks to the design. So it's like going back to school when you used to make those paper planes, and you first of all fold in from the centre and take your other one to make a point. So you've got these 2 sections folded. We now carry on and again work to that central point and crease, and then take again to this central point. So what this is creating strength to the peak and also creating depth. Now we're going to carry on one more time. And then fold in again on this section. Catching down near the base just with a small piece of sellotape, and just halfway up, because you're not going to actually see these joins, but that gives you your first peak. You then take your second piece, again work from the middle, fold in, and this really does just take a few minutes. It's not something that really takes hours and hours to create, but it just adds that extra interest. So now you've just created your first 2 peaks, and we also had these wonderful 2 sections here as well. So we have our 6 red roses already tied, and first of all we take our first peak and we sit this at the back of the roses. So we've got the first craft peak here, and then we would actually just scrunch the paper around this tying point. Taking your second piece, you would then follow the same procedure, and this will then create this wonderful feel at the backbone of the design. And I want just a small piece of tape just to hold those two together. But this is really creating quite a nice finish to the back of the piece. Using the two smaller pieces, this is going to encase the base of the roses. So we just have two sections like this, again giving you those wonderful peaks. Around the base, and that now really creates that lushness and that real nice expensive feel to the design. So here we've got our two pieces of craft paper. We've already placed one around, and this is most important because we've got those points, this will create those fabulous peaks around the outside of the design. So it really creates that opulence and really gives you that nice little skirt underneath the red roses where it's been tied. So now we've got the wonderful 6 red roses wrapped with this wonderful black craft paper. Obviously, we can actually finish off this design with cellophane. What I'd also like to do in the shop is I would gently peel away any of this excess paper, trim it away, because this can be sold as a complete item. So why not take a black ceramic container, finish it off with a nice red ribbon and sit in the vase, all in water, extra profit because you're hopefully going to sell a container as well, and the customer's going to be really pleased because it's easy. They lift out, the customer trims and places back, and the roses are going to last a lot longer. But obviously not everybody wants a vase, so what we're going to do is actually finish off this design now with some wonderful cellophanes. So we have our 6 red roses now ready, and obviously we need to wrap them. We're going to take 1 square of craft paper for the base. Again, I could just fold and then cut off. So we've got 1 square for the base. Now that's all the craft paper that we actually need. And then we're going to just add some of this wonderful gold clear cellophane with this fabulous modern gold heart on the outside of it, this wonderful metallic. So this can then go underneath at the base. So I'm going to first of all take my craft paper, I've got my sheet of cellophane, and I'm just going to work out where the middle is, and this is enabling me to cover the stems. Now bearing in mind that every actual rose stem here will have a water tube on, so when they're going into an office they're still getting a water source. Never send them out dry packed. I then take in my craft paper at the base, and then this will allow me to finish off the design, and I'm going to make sure that my cellophane comes no higher than this peak here. If I moved it and I allowed my cellophane over here, it's going to take control of the flowers, which is not what we want. It's about the flowers, but the packaging enhancing the look of the design. So it's quite low here. Then we can start to bring in and just gently teasing the cellophane, and this will allow to have a real nice backing at the back of the design as well. So now we can start to tie off. I'm using again a small amount of black poly ribbon here. So now to finish off the design, I'm going to take some of the black voile that's wired, approximately using most probably 1.5 meters here. Again, tying off with my poly ribbon. Also again, always making sure that I have any identification about the business. And here I've added my flower food and my business card. Finishing off with the wonderful black ribbon at the base. Always making sure that the knot is at the top, so it's hidden underneath the ribbon. So when also using your corporate ribbon, you know, you can just make a small roll so long as it's actually showing your name and telephone number. And there is 6 red roses that really does create impact, and it really shows off you as a company that you can really package something extra special just by using craft cellophane and some beautiful ribbon. I'm sure anybody would be pleased with 6 red roses like this.